What's up, y'all? Welcome to D's Pod and the D Talks podcast, or simply put, D Me Talks. And I believe we're in episode 4 now. Very exciting. We're 4 episodes down. Crazy. You're probably wondering, D, new venue, what's going on here? Well, I'm in my room now. Before I was in the guest room, little better lighting, little better situation. I had a chair in there that I could use, and this setup was already planned. But the guest room is no longer vacant, so I had to migrate, be adaptable. It's on my resume. Any recruiters watching this video, I'm adaptable. Hire me. There you go. But so anyways, today we're talking about getting your reps in, right? And I'm not just talking about reps in regards to exercise and anything physical. I'm talking about reps in life, right? Practice. Because you always hear practice makes perfect. It doesn't. Practice makes progress. And get that pursuit of perfection out of your mind, because you're never going to get there. Only thing perfect, only being that's perfect is Christ. And you're not God. So don't expect perfection out of yourself. You'll save yourself a lot of disappointment and a lot of meh. But anyways, to get started, I got a question for y'all. As you know, I always have a question starting off the podcast. What's a hobby that you've always wanted to pursue? Right? This isn't a goofy question like it typically is. I'm going to change it up on y'all. Keep you on your toes. But I'm going to gain this a little bit so I have a little more hearability. Hopefully that's better. My answer to the question will come later on. It's a lot louder. Sorry. In the podcast. But anyways, now getting into the meat and taters. Get your reps in. Because how else do you expect to get better? Right? All right, now we're going to the physical part, but this is just for metaphorical, whatever the word is, for metaphors. Right? You go to the gym, you do more exercises. More exercises means stronger muscles. Right? Stronger muscles means a heavier load you could take on. Right? You don't go to the gym. You start out lifting, the bar. You're struggling. You keep on lifting. You're not going to continue just lifting the bar. Right? Your body adapts. Add more weight on there. You can handle a heavier load. Right? While you're doing that, you're also growing muscle. So they're getting stronger and they're getting bigger. Better. Right? I use quotes because better is subjective. You don't have to be the biggest dude in the room to be, amazing. You can be amazing being who you are, but you should exercise. I stand by that, and I will stand by that forever. But anyways, bigger muscles, more exercises, stronger muscles. You got to get your reps in. You can watch all the Arnold videos you want, all the gym TikToks you want. If you're not in that gym, if you're not doing push-ups, if you're not moving, working out, you're not going to get stronger, right? Next point. This is the bread and butter right here. This is the biscuits and gravy. Bigger faith, right? You come to God not only in your good times, but you want to come in your bad as well. Because in these bad times, that's when your relationship with Him really strengthens, right? You look at this in regards to an earthly relationship. So, people are dating and they have their arguments, of course. That's healthy to have a healthy balance of, arguments where all individuals were not going to align on anything or on everything, right? But you're going to have your arguments. And at the end of those arguments, at the end of that adversity, typically, so long as it's not, a toxic situation, the relationship grows stronger. And that's the same that goes with God. The more adversity you go through and the more you come to Him in that adversity, the stronger your relationship will be with God, right? The easier it'll be to hear His voice, the closer you'll get. And you'll hear His voice better because I like to think of it in terms of proximity, right? When you're doing things that are pleasing to God, you're growing closer to Him. And when you're close in proximity with anyone, it's a lot easier to hear what they have to say. But if you're doing things that, go against that, they honor the flesh more than they honor the spirit, then you're pushing yourself away. And in doing that, I'm not saying, that means at a certain point, there's no point in even trying, because God's always going to be there. But you're pushing yourself away, and it's going to be harder to hear his voice, obviously. And so you want to do things that are edifying in Christ. And yes, so practice coming to him in every situation, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and you will grow in your faith, bigger faith. In trials, you will be tested. Life is a series of tests, series of decisions, a series of all of that. Your faith, your discipline, your knowledge, your strength, everything. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know what I said, but anyways, you will be tested. Don't run from these trials. Take them as quizzes or practice bouts, right? Test yourself. Get it in. Get your reps in. Better shot in basketball. You can watch all the Steph Curry videos you want to watch. If you're not out there on the court putting shots up, you're not going to get good. Your shot will always be off. Nothing beats actually going through the motions, getting your reps in. Social skills. If you want to learn how to talk to people, go and talk to people, right? It sounds complicated, but this one really hit home for me because I was very quiet growing up. And then in my adulthood, a switch went off and I was like, yo, why am I looking up YouTube videos about how to talk to people? The answer is in the question. How do I talk to people? Go talk to people. Get your reps in. I promise you, if you keep on talking to people, you're going to get better at talking to people because your brain adapts, right? Like how I adapted to coming into this room to record the episode today, your brain also adapts, right? You want to get better at interviewing? Do some practice interviews with yourself. It sounds weird, but I mean, it works. Speaking from experience, right? Before, I'd kind of go into interviews blindly. Granted, these were hourly interviews, so Auntie Anne's Pretzels, Mod Pizza, Jersey Mike's, and H-E-B, right? So pretty basic kind of interview setting. But now I'm applying to jobs that pay salary. I'm applying to careers, right? It's a different world, different field. They ask questions that are specific to the field, and you got to be ready for that. And the only way that you'll be ready for those questions is if you ask yourself these questions, Google some common questions for your role or your position. Write down your answers for them. Kind of memorize them. Not like a script, but memorize points you want to hit. And then when you're in these interviews, you'll be able to knock it out. Because you're like, okay, I know the answer to that, right? Somebody asks, oh, what's a point in time when you had to lead a team, right? Oh, easy. Back at Mod. Boom, right? Get your reps in. You have to do it. I got my reps in my very first interview for any of these careers that I'm referring to. I made it to the second round because I was ready because I got my reps in. It sounds weird, but you got to do it, Practice saying them. Go interview. Trial and error. You will succeed. Now, all right, I said before that was the biscuits and gravy, but this point here is the biscuits and gravy because this is kind of what led me to today's message in general, and that's the story of David and Goliath, right? We've all heard the story. Little boy David kills big man, behemoth, mammoth, Goliath, right? But what a lot of people fail to understand is David was not just some little boy on the street. No, sir, no ma'am. David was not some kid playing hopscotch, playing soccer, whatever in the streets. He hears a commotion and he goes to check it out. No, David was called by God, right? Let alone the fact that he was anointed king from childhood while some other guy was still king. David got his reps in. So when it came time for him to face Goliath, when it came time for him to stand up against that mountain, he knew how to compose himself. He knew how to handle himself because he had put in all the reps that he needed to while he was down in the valleys, right? We talk about mountains and valleys a lot in the Bible, and also in just Christianity in general. The God of the mountain is the God of the valley, And so, okay, this thing looks really low, and I'm worried that I'm recording through my computer audio instead of in this microphone. But sorry. Anyways, I'm not gonna cut that out. David and Goliath. David got his reps in, right? So we know he killed Goliath, but what a lot of people may not know is David had practiced killing beasts before. David, he watched over a flock as a boy. And whenever you're watching over a flock, you got to be wary of predators, right? So before he was faced with that mountain, as I was saying, he was in the valley killing lions and bears, right? Lions and bears. Imagine that, a little boy killing lions and bears. So when it came time for David to really test himself, when it came time to him to face his mountain, he had already got his reps in the valley. So when that uncircumcised Philistine came and was making everybody, you can't see I'm shaking my knees, shaking their boots, David was able to walk in like how they do in those TikToks where they're like this. David was able to walk in with his chest out because he knew he could handle himself. He had gotten his reps in. He built that confidence. He built that rapport with himself. He built those muscles. He built those skills. So when it came time for him to ultimately test himself, he was ready and he was confident and he knew he was ready, right? And in those tests, he also had trials with his faith with Christ, and that grew as well. So he not only had just the knowledge and the know-how of, okay, yeah, I'm a little boy, but I know how to kill a beast, right? He also knew that God was on his side. He had been through whatever in his life to strengthen that faith. So that's a twofer, right? He's going into this battle with this big dude, this beast, Goliath, with the twofer of confidence, twofer of faith. There's no way he wasn't winning. And as we all know, David put Goliath to sleep, right? But he didn't just do that out of nowhere. David got his reps in, right? And then reverse back to the mountains and valleys, right? How can you know when you're ready for your mountains if you can't manage yourself in the valleys, right? How do you know if you're ready for all that money? If you're ready for that raise, you're ready for that new job, right? If you're ready to win the lottery. If you can't handle your finances now at your hourly job, right? How do you know you'll be able to manage your money when that influx comes in, right? The Bible talks about, slow income over fast income, because in that gradual, slow gathering and receiving of more money, you learn as you go, you adapt, and you become better at managing that money. But if you just get $1 million out of nowhere and you're coming from, living paycheck to paycheck, because you're spending, not because of situations, but because you're spending that money on stuff you essentially don't need. When that million comes in, you're going to blow it. And then what happens after that? You're back in your situation, right? You're back in your valley. You didn't get your reps in when you had the time to get your reps in, right? You need to learn in your valleys and grow in your valleys. Get your reps in your valleys, because not only do you need to know that you're ready for your mountains, but God needs to know as well. How can he trust you with that new money, that new position, that good situation, right? If you can't even be trusted with what you're given now, with the little you're given now, right? You have to get your reps in. So when the time comes for you to make that money, for you to take that shot in a close game, for you to walk into that interview, talk to that person, say no to bad situations. When your spirit gets tested, then you'll be ready. You'll be ready to take on Goliath. You'll be ready to make the shot. You'll be ready to ace the interview and get the job, because you got your reps in beforehand, right? So if you get your reps in, going in the valleys, going into these mountainous situations, it's nothing but a free throw or a layup, even better. Because sometimes we be missing our free throws. I am we. So if you felt attacked, I definitely attack myself as well. But yes, when it comes to life, there's no easy ticket. There's no secret serum. There's no easy way around it. If you want to achieve something, you have to get your reps in, right? If you want to get better at interviewing, you have to practice answering interview questions. If you want to pass a test in school, you have to do the homework assignments. You have to take notes. You have to look over these notes. You have to get your reps in. Because in this valley, you're preparing yourself for the mountain that will come, right? I was talking about martial arts to somebody before, and one thing that really drew me into doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu was the whole suffer now or suffer later thing, you know? Because life is very unpredictable. You don't know when you'll be in a situation where you may need to defend yourself, right? And so it's better that you go into the gym, you go into the wherever you're training at, you know, and you get smashed, you get uncomfortable, you get hurt, because it's better to do that in that controlled environment. So the time comes when you may or may not need to use those skills to defend yourself. You'll be ready. You got your reps in, right? You already killed off the lions and the bears. So now the Goliath's here. All right. Layup. Wide open layup. Right? Defense, they're still back there on the fast break. I'm easy. I could walk into it. I could stop, plant my feet. I could do it with my left hand because there's no coverage. It's so easy. I got that confidence in myself. I built that faith, right? So yeah, there's no easy way out of it. You got to get in the gutters and you got to make it happen. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. This one was a little bit quicker. I'm trying to keep these under 20 minutes because that's what I always intended. Let's see. Question of the day. Skill or hobby I always wanted to pursue. Podcasting. Boom. Said that first episode. Everything else that I kind of wanted to do hobby-wise, I've gotten into with, you know, photography and video and stuff like that. But this was the main thing that I really wanted to kind of pick up and do because I learn a lot through either experience or through seeing others or through reading or just through, you know what? I could have did this or that would have worked out here. Naturally, I'm a very analytical thinker. And so, you know, I feel it's kind of selfish to have this knowledge and not share it with others, right? So this is why experience is the best teacher. You get these people that are super experienced. They become professors. They know what they're talking about, right? I'm not saying I'm a professor of life at all by any means, but I've been through some things. You know, I've gotten to the other side. I've learned some things, and I feel that could bring value to some people. And so I wanted to do this. And I also just like podcasts. I like listening to them. I want to be a part of that community. So here I am. But that's all I have for you guys. Go outside because it's going to start getting cold for sure. Drink water. You know, pray. Say your grace before you eat. You know, tell your homies you love them. Tell God you love them. And that's it.